My beloved brothers and my beloved sisters, Shaykh Safin Ahmed Maizbhandari, I remember your father oh so dearly and so well. Can you hear me clearly? I see your face in the picture there. Oh good, okay. And my dear brother Ahmed Tijani, people of Bangladesh, people all over the world capable of watching this Zoom. Indeed, in this time and place, we live in a borderless world. We live in a world, for the first time in human history, where the lessons of the prophets, the lesson of the Rasul, may peace and blessings be upon him, the lessons of Jesus, the lessons of love that Jesus taught, the lessons of wisdom that Moses taught, and the lesson of unity that Muhammad ﷺ taught. These lessons, which were spiritual lessons only in the past, have now become practical necessities, because no nation, religion, race, or group of people can protect every single life on the planet presently threatened by the destruction of the balance of nature and the regenerative processes of the natural world. As we are melting the polar ice cap and changing the very balance of alkaline and acid in the world's oceans, we are putting the third lung that we all share at risk. For 50 to 70% of our oxygen comes from the phytoplankton of the oceans, which depends on the health of the oceans. And no nation or group of nations can protect the oceans. Every single nation must work together to do this. Pandemics don't carry passports. The virus of pandemics doesn't care about race, religion, gender, high, low, rich, poor. Nuclear weapons, which we've created, just as we've created these impacts on the climate, threaten every single life on the planet. So never before in human history has the guidance that says to see other lives, all other lives, regardless of their nation, religion, differences, to see them all as part of the one human family has become a practical necessity. And those of us who claim to be followers of the Prophet, the 125,000 messengers, regarding whom the Rasul himself said, I make no distinction. First, beautiful names of Allah, the beautiful names of Rahman and Rahim. For these two words, when brought to life, open up the Holy Scripture, not just the Holy Scripture of the Holy Quran, but the Holy Scripture of our lives themselves. Without compassion and mercy, the fullness of our humanity cannot become alive. And without the fullness of our humanity, we cannot fulfill the reason why Allah created us. He is a hidden treasure loving to be known, and He is only knowable by the organ of perception of the pure heart. He cannot be known with the physical eyes. His signs can be known, the infinite firmaments and the wonder of the sunrise and the sunset, but these are just signs. He can't be touched with our hands. We can't even touch the thing in our hands that is touching. It itself is formless. Our very awareness is formless. Our consciousness is formless. And Allah is formless. There is no image, no idol, no image of the mind, no image of the senses that encompasses the reality of Allah. Now, the Holy Prophet, may blessings be upon him, evidenced the reality of Allah through his conduct, through his love for others, through his service, through his humility, as did all of the prophets. And they showed us that the evidence of prayer is compassion and love. And the evidence of love is caring for others. And the evidence of caring for others is service toward others. And the evidence of service toward others is a clear conscience. And the evidence of a clear conscience is inner peace. And the evidence of inner peace is the wisdom that arises from the tranquil heart. And the wisdom that arises from the tranquil heart realizes the quality of Shakur, the holy name upon which we can rest with confidence. For when there is gratitude in the heart, there is no room for vanity. There is no room for anger. There is no room for prejudice. So a wise man was once asked, what do you gain from prayer? What do you gain from turning toward God with humility? And he said, I don't gain things. I lose my arrogance. I lose my pride. I lose my vengeance. I lose my prejudice. I lose my ignorance. I lose falsehood. I lose lying. I lose insincerity. And in the open space, when these qualities of illusion fall away, the natural qualities of Allah, compassion, mercy, tranquility, peacefulness, justice, they have a heart in which they can resonate. And that is the heart that you and I must cultivate. We must call upon Him through His beautiful names and allow them to be living realities in our hearts, and through our hearts they will come to our hands, and they will guide our minds, and they will guide our lives. And within those qualities is the nur, is the light that guides toward understanding and wisdom. And that is what witnessing the reality of the Prophet is. Not just saying it, but knowing it. Knowing that the teaching of Tawheed, the teaching of Mahab, the teaching of Rahman, the teaching of Rahim is what awakens the mystery of Hayat, of life. It is in those qualities that Ya Fatah, the opening of the inner reality wherein Allah's mysteries can be found, reveals and is unveiled and becomes known. And then the purpose for which He made us, which is to know Him, becomes realized. And then we can be the examples. Then we can be the servants who bring humanity back to balance and stop burning the ice cap, stop war, stop prejudice, stop the arrogance of believing that man is greater than God. God alone is sovereign, and God is love. God is compassion. God is mercy. Now, these qualities have no form. We have to live them and bring them into form. We are all like leaves on one tree, all sustained by the same power, the same grace, the same force. But we will only know that by going deep within ourselves. We can't know this mystery of the presence wherein as we are told, He is closer than our jugular vein. We won't know that by finding the jugular vein. We will only know that by going within our own very being. And what can bring us into that is His beautiful names. So on this day in which we remember the example and the guidance of the prophets, the guidance of one who said, I make no distinction amongst the messengers of God. On this day in which we remember the glory and the gift of He who is a Rahmatul Alameen, the glorious giver of peace and mercy, as an example, a day in which we remember the guidance and live the guidance of the prophets, and we thank God for Muhammad. May blessings be upon him and all the prophets, and in which we remember that if we live those qualities, the blessing which is always being given will be realized in us, and it will be alive in us, and it will heal us, and it will guide us, and it will make us healers of others. It will make us be able to help others remember the beauty of their own lives, and therein the beauty of the giver of life. All praises are to the giver of life. A guide whom I met, a Qutub, Mainuddin, who lived like Khaja Mainuddin Chishti or Abdul Qadir Jalani, or any of the great saints of the awliya of Allah, made clear to me that the message of the Rasul can be alive in our lives if we will take on the prayer that lets go of our pride, our vanity, our arrogance, our prejudice, and surrenders to the beautiful names that open the holy sacred Quran, Rahman and Rahim. Instead of melting the ice cap, let us melt our hearts. All praises are to Allah, and I thank my brothers and sisters who are helping each of us and myself remember the glorious presence of the glorious gift of life, wherein the giver of life, the giver of hayat can be known. All praises are to the glorious giver of this moment of life, wherein this breath is a time to remember. This breath is a time to say, thank you, O beloved Lord. Thank you, Allah. And I thank you, my brothers and sisters, for bringing us together. All praises are to you, God. All praises and praising is yours, Allah. Ameen. Ya Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you so much, Sheikh.